Carnival is debuting an incredible new ride. It is called the Titan.
The Houston Rodeo is keeping it fresh in 2019 with 5 new rides at the carnival. Probably the most exciting, the Titan, the only one of its kind in the U.S.
The Houston media went gaga during the rodeo, especially when it came to that new carnival ride, the Titan.
I just rode it and I recommend it. It is so cool.
And the rodeo's boss, well, he just loved to talk all about it.
17 stories tall, gets up to 60 miles an hour, pulls 4 Gs. You can come over the top upside down. It was absolutely fantastic.
All the way up there, 17 stories up. Now, I can tell you from my experience that really is not a bad place to be stuck because you're not upside down. In fact, the riders had their backs to the ground.
Even after the skyscraper ride left passengers stranded one night for 8 long minutes, 17 stories in the air, my media friends seem to take it all in stride.
Rodeo officials say that some of the riders that got stuck on Sunday night actually got back in line and did the whole crazy thing all over again. I'm sure you can still hear them screaming.
The rodeo told us all there was nothing to see here. No malfunction, no explainable reason why a ride suddenly gets stuck 17 stories in the air. Just a fun hiccup, we'll call it, during the biggest carnival in Texas. 2.5 million of us went to the carnival this year for the rides and the games. Big fun and big money. But when you start asking the rodeo questions about the money and how they spend it, well, that's when the fun stops. It's no secret we've been exposing the sacred $250 million Houston Rodeo Cow for months now. They've sued us because they don't think you have a right to know how they spend all their money. They also don't like the rulings of Houston Judge Stephen Kirkland. The Texas Appeals Court is now set May 22nd for a legal showdown. But since we're on this long ride with our friends at the rodeo, let's get back to the carnival, shall we? Because the Titan story, well, it's piqued our interest.
The ride was stuck at the top for 8 full minutes.
Guess we're not surprised the rodeo didn't have to dig deeper into the carnival mishap out in the public. But history tells us we should all be paying close attention to carnival rides.
You should have the expectation and the belief that that ride is going to be safe and that you're going to be secure.
You probably don't know that the rodeo hires a private company to put on the show, and they've used the same company for 26 years without ever asking for any competitive bids to see if they get a better price or a safer carnival. Even after the roller coaster fatality of 2011, the ride didn't return, but the rodeo immediately gave the carnival company a new contract. Even after the feds claimed Ray Kamak shows, quote, misrepresented the portable ride safety record and failed to document or release previously reported malfunctions. But that latest contract ended after this year's games and rides were over, and we now know from the rodeo website they asked for proposals from carnival vendors for a new contract. Safety isn't the only thing that should matter here. Money should too. The carnival companies all promised to share some of their big payday with the rodeo to help the kids. Remember, guys? Yet the rodeo won't even tell us when they'll meet to decide who runs the carnival next year. We do know of at least 2 other companies who tried to get the business this time, Wade Shows and Tally Amusements. Tally is the only one based in Texas, and they ran the livestock show and rodeo way back when it was at the Sam Houston Coliseum. The rodeo doesn't think you have a right to know who's even offering the best take for the charity, and thus the kids. Guess the folks making up to $600,000 a year at the Sacred Cow headquarters figure that buying expensive tickets with your hard-earned money or donating free labor doesn't get you the behind-the-widening secrecy of the Sacred Cow. The rodeo's last available public tax return is from 2016. It shows Ray Kamak shows was paid almost $3.8 million that year. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised at all that the rodeo wants to keep its carny business a secret. After all, have you noticed a pattern here? They don't want you to see how they spend money overseas. They don't want you to know which board members are making a killing off their connections. It's time folks in this town who volunteer to raise money and spend all that money send the rodeo a message. Otherwise, We're all being taken for a ride.